People have been saying that for a while, and there's very good like open source models that are out there, but they all still seem to be behind the state-of-the-art models. And so I haven't talked to any business or seen any company where they are preferring to use an open source model that lags 6 months behind the state-of-the-art models for cost or control, really. To be competitive, you have to be using the best things that are out there. So it's not necessarily a commodity in the same way. I do think as well, you know, if you go back a few years, kind of the normal startup software development timeline, if you built a new product capability, you know, that was different in the market, you had kind of like 2 years, more or less, to figure out how to monetize it and get a business going. Like you build a new product experience, you have an insight about the market, and the clock starts, and then you hire people and hire a sales team and build a company. What's happened, I think, is the half-life on product innovation has shrunk. Now, if you build a new product feature, you have like 2 months, maybe, you know? It might be even shorter. The speed at which a competitor can clone your product, or even an incumbent, you know, a large company you're trying to compete with, they can just absorb and adapt that product capability is really, really short, really, really short. In some ways, the ease of development has made the entire landscape more competitive because more companies can get built, more people can build stuff, more people can build things faster. But I think it also has this counter effect where it actually makes the large incumbents more durable because they can absorb the innovation faster if they're willing to adopt all this AI stuff and be in the same category. So I don't know. It's pretty wild. I think a lot of people talk about distribution or brand being the differentiator as it gets easier to build things, but even that seems like the timeline is compressed. So I really just do feel, I don't know, like, you know, people talk about, you know, as you get older, it's like the years fly by, you know, things feel like where did the time go? You hear this a lot from people as they age. I remember reading a lot about this when I was in college around like what creates perception of time. And there's two things that slow down the perception of time. It's novelty and concentration. Those are the two things they've studied. So if you think when you go on vacation or you have a novel experience, you go somewhere new or you travel, time kind of feels like it slows down. It's like a density of those memories. There's a lot of novelty right now in the world. There's like so much happening with the AI space, and I think that's the reason why it feels like there's so much time that's being compressed. So it's very hard for me to say like what's going to be durable, even by like April, you know, in a month. The GPT, what is it, the 5.4 model just came out today, and it looks fantastic, you know, already. Like I can't wait to play with it tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Will AI native startups need a different kind of identity stack?
I think similar to what we were saying earlier around GitHub or infrastructure solutions, they will, but the first order need will be for it to be more flexible and scale better and be more secure because there's more at stake. So, you know, if in the past, say 95% of the traffic to your app is people, and maybe 5% of it is like an API, it's like a machine doing stuff, which is pretty common for a lot of products. You have people using it and a little bit of automation. It's going to invert where 95% of the traffic will be agents. But that doesn't mean that the traffic from people is going to decrease. It just means we're going to 20x the traffic on top. So it'll be, you know, 95%. It'll go from 5% agents to 95% agents. And so we need infrastructure solutions that will support that, including identity systems for tracking agents and their access control. Yeah. So I'd say yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Are we underestimating the compliance challenges that AI may trigger?
You know, I'm not an expert in compliance when it comes to like policy, like SOC 2 or ISO compliance or things like that. And I know that there's a lot of people who are looking at the challenges around AI how it changes behaviors, trying to adapt compliance to it. One of my favorite companies around this is the AI Underwriting Corporation, which I'm a small angel investor in, and they're essentially trying to make a version of like SOC 2 compliance for an AI model, so you can sort of certify its behavior, which is a very interesting thing. It's almost like a blue check, you know, for like a certain model that you can guarantee that it won't be like racist or something like that. And they want to do this so you can create insurance around it. Actually, have these derived, you know, kind of elements around trust. And so I think the people are working on it to a very significant degree. I'm not sure if it's being underinvested in, but it's a pretty cool category change. I think if there's people that are listening to this or watching this, like, they should probably go build companies here. There's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. In the modern SaaS stack, where do you believe long-term margins actually concentrate?
I think the pattern will be the same as it is today, in that foundational infrastructure is relatively low margin because it gets commodified over time. So you kind of see this today with like the cloud products or like database companies, like it's like relatively low margin, and then sort of up the stack or in the application layer, those companies are higher margin, but they also are narrower businesses. They're not selling as horizontally to everyone, so they have a smaller TAM. And I think that structure, I think, will stay kind of similar. It's kind of the right model for creating the most value for the consumer, I think, for the customer, because you can have infrastructure providers that can sell to like a really large set of the market and drive a really strong value price point because of their low margin. And then you can have smaller TAM focused customers who understand the end customer behavior really well. They understand the market, and they can drive a very specific impact and then extract most value from that. So I think that model, that kind of economic pattern, is actually like the optimal one. And so I think we'll keep that. Yeah.
Sure.
That'd be my guess. I don't know. We'll see. We've never made anything like this AI stuff. I mean, people know that is new, but we've never made anything that's like encapsulates intelligence. We've made stuff that are like tools to use, but never anything that can disrupt labor. And I think that's it's just enormous change. It's a different.
Yeah. Do you see consolidation happening at the infrastructure layer, or fragmentation?
It's always both are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it depends like where you look in the stack. There is expansion happening or fragmentation around the AI services. You know, there's like if you look just back a few years, you know, the hotness was vector databases. People were like, oh, we're not going to use relational databases, we're going to put everything in vector stores. And there are some wonderful companies building fast vector databases, but for the majority of use cases, actually, it was advantageous to have the vector store right next to your relational database. It's better to have a PG vector or something like that rather than a separate service. And so that's like a consolidation moment that happened after an expansion moment, after a fragmentation moment. I have seen a lot of design